Welcome to Switch Comics. My name is Marco, and today I'm going to be tackling the very difficult subject of my top 5 current favorite artists. Now, this was extremely difficult to put together. Keep in mind, art is subjective, and honestly, if you ask me this same question in like a month or so, or 6 months, or a year, like it could be a completely different list. But these are 5 of the current artists that I feel like I'm most excited to see work from. Um, and I don't know, like I said, there's a lot of things that go into it. But this conversation popped up during one of my live streams. Somebody was asking me about some of my favorite artists, and it was it was difficult to talk about during the live stream. I'm trying to name so many different people that that's the thing. I love so many artists. There's so many good, amazing artists that didn't make it to today's list. That again, ask me in 3 months, and maybe they would have been swapped out for somebody else. Obviously, as more and more pieces come out from these artists, that could sway my decision making as well. Or it could just be on a different day. I just have a different opinion. But these, for today, are going to be my top 5 current artists. So, starting off at number 5, we have Alex Maleev, which was a really debatable one for me. I. Again, there's so many other really amazing artists that could have made it onto this list, and I chose to put Maleev on here. I find him to be a very interesting artist. I find him to be a bit of a risk taker. He's very creative. Has a lot of kind of inspiration from. It feels like David. I don't know. I'm just maybe projecting, but it feels like a lot of inspiration in certain ways from David Mack. But refined. I don't even want to say into his own style, because I feel like Maleev is. There's a lot of artists you can look at any of their pieces and be like, oh, that's so and so. But Maleev isn't one that I think I could see really any. If he made a brand new piece and I was looking at it, I don't know if I could look at it and be like, oh, that's Maleev. I do feel like there's certain things. But again, like even if you look at some of these examples, I feel like a lot of them are very different looking pieces and different looking kind of art styles. And I don't feel like he really settles down to anything in particular. And I really enjoy, like I said, I feel like he can get very creative and do some very interesting things. And that always interests me. And I think it's something to, look out for. I'm excited to see future Maleev pieces. Maleev might not be one that I pick up every one of his things, but like for example, that Scarlet Witch piece is a new one coming up for the new series, and I think it's gorgeous. I'm very excited to add that to the collection. Yeah, I think it's just an absolute killer cover, and I'm excited to see what else he has in the future. So it is an artist I am very excited to constantly be on the lookout for, despite maybe not being an artist that I will necessarily pick up everything on. And then moving on to the number 4 spot, we have Jiyoung Lee, and these, even the rankings and everything it was so hard. So Jiyoung Lee, I kind of think might be the best or one of the best technical artists out there. I think his detailing. I also think there's a lot of artists that kind of do similar things to him. This kind of dark toned, realistic type of drawing. It's like realistic, but with it's still hints of comicness to it. It's not like necessarily a photorealistic picture, but it's highly detailed. Dark toned comic characters, and I feel like there's a lot of other people that do this type of stuff, but I feel like he just outshines them all to an incredible degree. I feel like his art is pretty much always just amazing. He does an absolutely just killer job, and again, he could maybe even be higher on my list, but he hasn't been putting out any covers for several months now. He's been working on a Kickstarter, his own comic thing, and that's exciting. It's cool for him. I'm happy that he's doing what he wants to be doing. But it does. I do miss his art. I miss seeing his covers. I think he is immensely talented, and yeah, I mean, I do hope that after he's done doing his own comic, he does eventually come back. And I'm not saying like he shouldn't be doing his own thing or whatever. I just I would love to see more variant covers from him, because I think he is one of the most talented comic artists in the game currently. Technically speaking, I think he could even be argued to be the best technical current artist. I think he's out of this world. But again, like I said, maybe perhaps for the lack of any new covers in a long time, despite him having some absolutely amazing ones, he is just at number 4. Now moving on to number 3, we're gonna have Peach Momoko, which anyone that knows my channel might be a little surprised, because I do pick up a lot of Peach Momokos. I don't pick up every Peach Momoko, but I pick up a lot of Peach Momoko. I talk about her a lot on the channel. Obviously, she's one of the cover artists that has the most work currently. She's always putting out covers, and for working directly with Marvel. Also now starting to, she used to work with DC and other companies and Dynamite and whoever else, but then I think she was exclusively Marvel for a while, but now she's starting to do some other covers as well. But also, yeah, she puts out a ton of exclusive variants all the time, and it's no secret I absolutely love Peach Momoko's work. I'm just a big fan of any kind of I don't know. I don't like when people call her like an anime artist, because to me her work does not look like anime. I feel like there's a difference between having a Japanese inspiration, and like art derived from various Japanese styles. Japanese doesn't inherently mean anime, and it kind of irritates me. I don't know when it gets so broadly brushed over like that. But that being said, there are a lot of Japanese art styles that I'm a big fan of. I enjoy, several different artists who do a lot of Japanese type art, and yeah, Peach Momoko, I mean, like I said, there's not too much more for me to say. I mean, it's very obvious. It was actually really hard, because the volume of work that she puts out is so massive. It was really hard to pick 10 covers to really display her work real well, and put them here on my card. She has so many covers that I absolutely love, and her volume of work is absolutely ridiculous. And again, like I don't love all of her covers, but I think there's few artists currently today that put out so much work as she did. I mean, she's a workaholic. She is constantly doing all kinds of things, and it's not like 1 out of every 20 are good. A good percentage of them are very, very strong, and sometimes even within her stuff, like for example, I didn't care for any of her what was it, the Avengers, or the Axe, the Avengers, Eternals, X-Men. She had a particular style that she was going for on those covers, and I didn't pick up any of them because I didn't care for them, and not that they were terrible, it just wasn't my thing. But that being said, obviously she has a ton of covers that I own. There's a ton of covers I want to own from her. Some of them can be quite pricey. And yeah, so she took the number 3 spot. And yeah, moving on now to number 2, we have Art Adams. And I even like, even while making this video, I'm like, should I have put Momoko over Art Adams? but I don't know. I feel like I have a much. It's kind of unfair because I was gonna say I have a higher percentage chance of picking up a new Art Adams variant rather than a Momoko. But again, Momoko just puts out so much more than Art Adams that I don't know. It's hard to say, but I feel like I mean I like a lot of older Art Adams work, but I feel like pretty much everything he puts out new, I grab. I really enjoy. A lot of his new variants. That Thanos cover, I think, is one of my favorite covers of the year. Really love that Magic cover that he did this year, or was that last year? Actually, I can't remember. Um, but anyway, there's just a ton of covers. Every time he's putting out something, I feel like I'm always trying to grab it. And like I said, even like while making this video, because I did all the work beforehand, getting all this together, and I put Art Adams at the front, but now I'm like, maybe Art Adams should be 3 and Momoko should be 2. I don't know, but for the sake of the video, I guess I have him put in my number 2 spot. Um, I'm a big fan of his. I feel like his line work is what really draws me in. And I think it's something that kind of gets overshadowed. Line work isn't something that like I think non-artistic people really focus on. Um, because I mean, I don't know. Art Adams gets a little bit of criticism of like kind of just doing the same thing over and over again, and to a degree, he kind of does. But then you have some awesome pieces like that Thanos and Wolverine, which are pretty different. Even though that Thanos is kind of his signature pose in a way, except for the hand being up or the gauntlet being up. But yeah, I mean he kind of does have a just slight angled and head turning towards the camera, and that is his generic pose. But you know, I mean, it's what people like from him, and it seems to work out for him. So you know, you can't blame a guy for doing what works. That being said, like that New Mutants right there with the orange and black background with magic and that awesome blue sword. Um, that's one of my favorites. It might be my favorite Art Adams cover. Um, it is really really solid. I love that one. It's a sweet like character spotlight type of full showcase cover with a minimalist but really I think interesting background at the same time. Um, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I said pretty much everything. The only like cover I can think of that he came out with recently that I didn't pick up was the long shot cover, and I just really don't care about long shot. So I didn't grab that one, but I feel like pretty much every cover he puts out I do grab. So that is ultimately why I put him in the number 2 spot. And also obviously has a huge history of artwork to go back from. And then now moving on to the final, the number 1 spot is Art Germ. And Art Germ to me is just a fantastic artist. Again, one of the best I think technical artists in the game currently. And man, I feel like everything he puts out is always amazing. He's always kind of pushing himself to a new limit, and Art Germ definitely is one that I feel like is pretty recognizable. Once you know like his style, I do feel like he has a decent amount of variation, but for the most part, his style is pretty recognizable, and I feel like I'm constantly getting a new favorite cover by him. I feel like as he does a decent amount of work, and as he's just putting out more and more covers, I feel like it's very often he'll do another one where I'm like, man, that might just be the best one he's ever done. I felt that way. I didn't even put the Dazzler cover on here as a great cover. I should have put that one on here. But I felt that way. I was like, man, I don't even really care about Dazzler, but that might just be his best cover he's ever done. And then his upcoming Emma cover for Sins of Sinister, I feel the same way. I'm like, that might just be the best cover he's ever done. And it's insane to me that I can love so much of his work, and I have this excitement and wonder of, well, I mean, I know he's going to continue to put out more great, incredible, amazing work, but how long is it going to be until he puts out something that is even better than anything he's ever done before, and he keeps proving that he can do it. In my opinion, I pick up I think pretty much every art germ. I'm trying to think if there's any recent art germs where I was like, meh. Even I think his weaker ones are still absolutely insane. I've even gone back and picked up some older art germ stuff of characters I don't even care about, like that Supergirl cover, which he has a few Supergirl covers. That one's my favorite. Is a book I went back and got just because it's a gorgeous cover. Like, it's amazing. And I cared absolutely nothing about Supergirl. Again, like, I don't care about Dazzler, and I think that's a ridiculously gorgeous cover. So anytime an artist can make you fall in love with a cover, even though you don't care about that character, I mean, that's something special. So that is my list. Art Germ there at the top. Again, ask me next year, and it could be completely different. Could have some of these people in different positions, some of them not on here. Could have different artists, and I don't know. Obviously, maybe next year some really cool artists will pop up, or some artist that has been working for a while really finds their stride and comes out with some awesome stuff. I don't know. Don't harass me, I guess, if I left out your favorite artist. That being said, feel free to tell me what your favorite artist is, whether you want to give me a 1 through 5 list, or just name off a few or something, or you're just favorite of all time. Just civilly discuss if you agree, disagree with me, anything like that. Obviously, like I said, art is subjective. Everybody likes different things. And yeah, that's all I got for today. I do have, so I've been teasing for a little while. I got a big book coming. That should be here Saturday, which means hopefully I'll get to show that off Sunday, which I'll be able to tie into a cool video that I was wanting to do anyway. So yeah, big book coming in, triple threat. Can't wait to show it to you all. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. I do actually, with all my precautions and everything, I am excited to read the comments on this one and see who you all talk about. Like I said, I made a big list of artists, and I might go back and do kind of a honorable mentions. And I don't know, I probably won't put them in order, but I might do like an honorable mentions type thing and talk about some of the other artists that I really enjoy. But yeah, that's all I got for today. I look forward to seeing what you all have to talk about in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time.